What is up, you geezer bloke type geezers? It is Chris Marder Games here. Happy New Year to all of my subscribers and my fellow YouTubers. It has been a fantastic 2015, but let's make 2016 even better. Now, for my very first video, I'm actually going to do one that's scripted. That's right. I actually made a script for this video. So, what is it going to be? Well, it's going to be a Tekken video. So, yeah. But before we start this Tekken video, ladies and gentlemen, I am freezing my arse off in this cabin. So, before we do anything else, let's go split some wood. Now let's start a fire. Oh yeah! Okay, now that my fire is done, let's start the video. Ah, Tekken. That word just on its own bleeds nostalgia out of my veins and arteries. From the day I acquired a PS1 for Christmas back in '96, playing a demo version of Tekken 2 until the present day. Now, I know there will be a few of you who watch my videos and strongly believe that its rival franchise, Street Fighter from Capcom, came before it, and is therefore their first love of fighting games. So when they see Tekken, they're all like, yeah, well, Street Fighter is better, dog! I love and respect Street Fighter just as I do Tekken, but for me, as far as console gaming goes, Tekken was indeed my first love and always will be. However, my first arcade fighting game experience came from fighting Vipers, but that's for another video entirely. The long journey of being a Tekken fan was, believe it or not, a strange one, and early. I was 9 years old when I played the Tekken 2 demo all those years ago, even though that at the time, a vast majority of fighting games were mostly targeted at 15 years and above, and most of the current gen fighting games still are. Arrest me. I'll come quietly. How many Tekken games do I own? I actually own physical copies of all Tekken games to date, with the exception of the first Tekken, downloaded electronically on my PS3. And of course, the stupid Tekken 7 game, with those ridiculous rage arts, ripped off from Street Fighter that it never needed to add, that's scheduled for release pretty soon. Am I inclined on getting it? I don't know yet. Other games I've taken a miss on are Tekken 6 Bloodline Rebellion, which is just simply the PS Vita's take on the franchise with new stages, and Tekken Revolution, a free download spin-off of Tekken Tag Tournament 2, where instead of using two characters as a tag team, you use one character to fight against online opponents, increasing a list of stats over time. What it all comes down to is that I've been wanting to do a Tekken related video for a long time now, but because of copyright claims that I've gained in the past, I've not been able to do anything of the sort. I've even gone so far as to doing a compilation of juggles in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 that I've been able to do. I even uploaded this, but like I said, copyright claims have made me take it down. But I digress. What is this Tekken video going to be about? Is it going to be a review? Actually, it's not. This video is going to be a top 10. So, what is this top 10 going to cover exactly? Well, characters have pretty much been done to death. And seeing as there are so many different players out there with so many different fighting tactics and styles, there's going to be a lot of different people with different opinions, and it's going to be controversial. While music, could conjure up a bit more copyright claims here and there. So what I've narrowed it down to is this is going to be the top 10 Tekken stages. Yes, that's right. The places where you actually fight. Now, the stages I have picked for this top 10 are ones that I feel at first experience of seeing them will almost certainly have the following. Excellent music, amazing atmosphere, whether the music playing relates to that atmosphere, and how good it made me feel seeing them at first glance. The top 10 will cover all 8 Tekken console games, including 1 through 6 and the 2 tag tournament games. No portable imports, because as stated before, I don't own those and I have never really played them. Except maybe for Tekken Advance, but that's just Tekken 3 on the GBA pretty much. Alright, so let's get on it like a car bonnet.
10.
Number 10 is Jin's stage from Tekken 3. This is a really good stage, and it really introduced Jin Kazama to me when I first played Tekken 3. When I heard the music, it related to his character, a proper hungry fighter who is young and bears a really good moveset. It also reminded me that my first true love, Tekken 2, was fully in the past, and that I would have to learn a whole new way of fighting. The stage looks like it's set inside an ancient Japanese pagoda, and the music that goes with it is incredibly upbeat and gives you an idea of the fight you're going to have is a good one, because you're going up against a top fighter like Jin. It is at number 10 however, because although I like the look and feel of this stage, there are better ones that fit the bill in terms of the atmosphere. An ancient Japanese pagoda with rock music in the background sounds awesome, right? But as I said before, there are better ones out there.
9.
Number 9 is The Stadium from Tekken 1. Now this stage, I'm sure a lot of Tekken fans will have been aware, the really kick-ass music being used here is the same music that is played for Bruce Irvin's stage in Tekken 2. Not the original soundtrack, but the arranged one. However, the reason I'm choosing this stage and not Bruce's is because this stage is based on a sports stadium. I do love my sports. Well, Bruce's stage in Tekken 2 resembles the Grand Canyon, and the music doesn't really relate to that. This stage is awesome because, as I said earlier, I love sports, and although this is based on a baseball stadium, I still love my sports. I guess a baseball stadium was chosen as the stage because we all know that Namco are a Japanese company, and Japan certainly love their baseball, don't they? The music fits in with the stage too, as it's upbeat, it makes you feel pumped up and ready for the fight you're gonna have, and it's overall a catchy beat. Who wouldn't want to beat someone up in a sports stadium on a video game with some catchy music? I sure would. Maybe if Bruce Irvin's stage in Tekken 2 was a ring in a boxing club, rather than him travelling to the Grand Canyon, it would have been in the list. Unfortunately for him, it isn't. Sorry, Brucey boy.
8.
Number 8 is Manji Valley from Tekken 6. There is something about snow stages that I'm immediately drawn to. Maybe it's because of the fact that my favourite season of the year is winter, and that the fact that my huge love for Sweden has something to do with it because Sweden has so much snow during the winter periods. Whichever way you look at it, all of the snow stages that Tekken have ever had, I reckon the Manji Valley could be the most aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, the music that goes with it might not resemble a twinkling snow theme that you experience in Tekken 1, or the over-ambitious sad Christmas stage you see in Tekken Tag 2. This one stands out from the rest. The music that ties in with it is mysterious, has a good beat, and it's that Japanese feel to it that makes it even more interesting to listen to. Add that to arguably the best snow stage in my opinion, and you got yourself a good stage. It just goes to prove that for a stage that likes to show off a bit of the cold, you don't need twinkles and sparkles to a song that helps resemble it.
7.
Number 7 is Mystical Forest from Tekken 6. Now, for this slot in the list, I found it very hard to decide which one to pick between the jungle stage in Tekken 4 or this one. Both are pretty much the same ordeal, set in a junglified area. Both have kick-ass tunes attached to them, but why this stage instead of the latter? I just feel the music to Mystical Forest ties in with the surroundings more than Tekken 4's jungle does. Don't get me wrong, I love both of these stages' class music, but I did state before during the list, although the stage has good music and the stage layout is good, both have to blend in together to make the list. Take Bruce's Tekken 2 stage, mentioned earlier, as an example of how not to follow these rules. Tekken 4's jungle almost makes it, but not quite. Mystical Forest, however, makes the list because the music being used is exactly what the name of the stage is. Mystical and mysterious. There's a good beat to it and it's pleasurable. As far as the stage layout is concerned, the surroundings are also pleasurable. I especially like the glowing on the water as you're making a throw on the opponent. It does make it very easy on the eye while you're fighting. And on Tekken 6's release date for Xbox and PS3 back in 2009, it made a point that graphics in games were most certainly improving. A closing fact would be that The music to the Mystical Forest is something that my mum would love listening to, because it's her kind of music.
6,
Number 6 is the airport from Tekken 4. Now, I'm kinda breaking the rules with this entry, only because the stage simply has one of the best beats for a Tekken stage. But this is my list, so bugger off. I absolutely love the music for this stage. The music reminds me a little bit of the type of song that Shack Attack would do back in the 70s. It's quirky, it's upbeat, it's easy on the ear, it's everything you want in stage music. The only reason why it's at number 6 and not higher is that I don't really see any reason for people to fight in an airport. In fact, if anything, airport in terms of the stage layout can be pretty annoying for juggle enthusiasts because of what you can see here. So this stage is on the list because it has awesome music, hence the reason why it's kind of breaking the rules a little. Also, an airport is probably the last place you'd expect to see people fighting, unless you're Bruce Willis or Samuel L. Jackson.
5,
Number 5 is Yoshimitsu's stage from Tekken 2. Ah, Yoshimitsu. What is not to like about this Manji clan samurai that's been through all Tekken games since the beginning, being given more makeovers than Nicki Minaj, while still using his trusty samurai sword, or at least that's what I think it is. But I'm not all that surprised that he actually bears one of my favourite stages in any Tekken game, and even the most nostalgic come to that. I always remember listening to this weird but great Japanese background song while I watched my dad try and learn all the moves for the samurai. Those memories are dear to me, as the only reason why Yoshimitsu was my dad's favourite fighter was because he was able to do this. And this. And it was even through my dad that I learned how to do this. Cheers, Dad. This stage has everything you'd expect in the mystery factor. It's located in a dark Japanese forest where samurais like Yoshimitsu like to lurk. The music ties in with its eeriness, where it starts out weird and mysterious and then gradually develops a beat over a period of the music. And it's just the fact that it's nostalgic to me literally just helps it over the line with confidence.
4,
Number 4 is going to be Hidden Retreat from Tekken 6. Gotta have a funny one on this list, and Hidden Retreat does not disappoint in the funny factor. This stage includes a huge herd of sheep in a meadow that whilst you're beating up your opponent, the sheep go flying on contact. It's just so hilarious to watch these sheep fly around the stage whilst you're listening to funny sounding music. Of course, the rules to this list is that you need to have good music and a good looking stage that tie into what's going on, and it has to be said, this stage ticks all the boxes. The stage is wall free too, so this stage would be very useful for the player who wants to stick around in the practice stage learning all of the juggles, whilst kicking a load of sheep around. No sheep were harmed in the making of this video. Plus I love sheep.
3,
Number 3 is going to be Lee Chow Lane's stage from Tekken 2. Lee's stage in Tekken 2 is a very awesome one, and one that has proper fitting music. Same music taken from the Chicago stage in Tekken 1. However, Lee inherits it in Tekken 2. And there's also something about a space station that I like for a stage. Dark with open spaces. I don't know what Lee is doing in a space station, but for some reason it all works with the music being played. So what about the music then? It's adrenaline rushed, it has a good beat that you'll be keeping in your head for a while, and it gives you an edge that you'll be needing for the fight against Lee, because he is a fighter that a lot of fast-paced players use, and is one that I love juggling with, especially in the later games. In Tekken 2, however, he's actually considered one of the worst characters, which I think is a load of horse shit. They only say that purely because his base moves are completely ripped off from Law's moveset, thrown in with some Heihachi splits kicks and pulls shredder. But I like Lee, he's alright. Got a good stage, 1-2 misstep juggle expert, leave Lee alone.
2,
Number 2 is King's Stage. Hands down, best stage in Tekken 2 by a country mile, and it makes number 2 on this list. Everything about this stage is simply epic. The stage is based in a very dark, eerie looking church, but it's the music itself that fits this stage perfectly and makes you think twice on whether you're going to have an easy round with King. Dark places do stages justice, and for me, King's stage ticks all the boxes. Yeah, Yoshimitsu's stage was nostalgic, and Lee has a space station, but here, King lives in a fucking church, and you the player are sure gonna know all about it. Of course, the church fits the character's image. His name is King, he is the king of his church, his music kicks ass, and is royally awesome. Pun definitely intended. I can only think of one stage that's better than this. But before we look at number 1, let's take a look at some honourable mentions. And now, ladies and gentle geezers, I bring before you today in this video the number 1 best stage in the entire Tekken franchise. Geezers, I give you the laboratory. This stage is fucking amazing. What can I say about the laboratory from Tekken 4? Epic? Well, obviously, but that's not the point. Its eeriness is through the roof. A confined space in a laboratory, the smoke coming out of the floor, the fact that the music relates to everything in the space you're in. It's tension infested. When I saw this stage for the first time playing Tekken 4, it blew my fucking mind. It was there telling me that I wasn't playing outdated Tekken 3 anymore. We were moving to a new console, graphics were getting better, and Tekken was getting a new identity in the franchise. This stage legitimately oozes mystery. It's a confined laboratory space. No one knows what it's there for. Maybe it's there holding important research. It's mysterious, and the music relates to it perfectly. So that's why this stage is my favourite. Enough said. Only blemish to an otherwise perfect stage is that it's located in my least favourite Tekken game, but let's not jump the gun. Let's just respect the eerie factor and move on in our lives. So, there you have it. My top 10 Tekken stages. Now, these are my personal favourites. They are not the best stages, but from my perspective, when I first played the Tekken games, those were my favourite stages. Now, if I've missed out any other stage or anything that are your favourites, write them in the comments below and we can discuss about it. We can talk about it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this really long video. If you've made it right to the very end of this, then you are freaking awesome. You are a dedicated geezer if you've gotten this far. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Chris109. Check me out my Google, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitch, and of course my eBay store. Got loads of stuff on sale. So yeah, make sure you do all of that. Check out my website at www.chris19.com. Make sure you do all of that. I've been Chris Modder Games as per usual. And until the next video, I shall see you later. Hey door, and peace.